What are you doing at SJC?
My name is Mike Ciprari, and I'm one of the owners here at SJC Drums, along with my brother.
So it's been 11 years since you opened up SJC. How many drums have you made in those 11 years?
Oh man, it's so hard to count. On our website we've got like 2,000 or 3,000 drums, full kits, toms, kick drums, snares, and everything. But besides, that's really the only way we know how to count the drums. We don't have like a program and we keep track of it. We've probably made 3,000 or 4,000 drum sets and like complete kits over the years. Individual drums though, I have no idea. Like thousands of them. There's a lot, so it's pretty wild, pretty crazy.
How did SJC start?
SJC started, over 10 years ago by my brother and myself. I started playing drums when I was 9, and my brother played the saxophone and everything, and I never let him use my kit. So he got a kit from my cousin, rewrapped it, spray painted it and everything, made it look cool. And then he kind of got into the inner workings of a drum and took it apart, redid the bearing edges, made himself a kit from scratch. He was always very into the dynamics of a drum and like what different woods and edges and hoops and heads did. I loved drums. I loved the look and the sound and the feel and the business part of just business and like artists customizing their kits and like seeing how wacky they could go with it. I loved dealing with people. I liked going to shows and working with people one-on-one. So I think between the two of us, we are very insanely different, but between the two of us, working that, it like magically, coincided together to go, okay, I'm the salesman and you're the builder. And we started in my grandma's basement 11, 12 years ago, just for fun, making drums for our friends. I was touring in bands. I played in a band called No Trigger with a couple of the guys here, and just it fell into our lap. It was a hobby, and we started building drums for fun for bands that are now on MTV and headlining tours and like on tour 300 days out of the year, and just word of mouth spread. The internet came out and MySpace was huge 7 years ago, and like we just started shipping drums internationally and all over the world in the US, and like made a name for ourselves, and here we are now still doing pretty much the same thing, just on a bigger scale with more artists.
What was the first drum you made that made you think that this was going to be a full-time job?
Wow, I never been asked that question. I think when one of our first artists was the Aquabats. It was my brother's favorite band, and we made them a kit. So that for us was like the first moment where we were like, wow, like this is bigger than just grandma's basement. The first drum that we made that was like, wow, this could actually be a job for us, and like this is gonna like market us well, was Panic at the Disco. It was actually that kit up there. We made them a kit for their first tour. And they're on the VMAs, they're all over Rolling Stone and MTV and everything, and like that's when really we got like our first like public push where like our drums are on TV, we're in magazines and stuff, and that's where kids started seeing SJC drums and like, holy crap, like what's this new drum company? That's when I realized, I was like, our phone's ringing, I'm getting emails, and like this could actually be a job for us. So
now that it's kind of a full-time job, what do you think you'd be doing if this wasn't a company?
If I wasn't doing SJC drums, I'd absolutely be doing something in the music industry, whether it be like a merch company, a label, management for a band. Probably not a tour manager because I hate being on the road, but early days I loved it, and that's kind of how we got the push to be where we are now with just the networking and the face-to-face connections that we make with our bands. But something in the music industry that has to do with business and marketing. So I'd love to be a manager for a band. It's just like part of my job here is to manage the crew and the employees and like oversee tasks and the marketing for the company. So same realm, and it's that's what I love to do. So
what is it like working with your brother? Because I know working with family is hard. Yeah,
working with family is definitely really hard. It's like never easy. You ask anybody, typically family businesses always go down and go under. We don't get along and we don't really communicate, and it's been that way, sort of since the beginning. Like sibling rivalry has always been there. We were working together face to face in like the small quarters of my grandma's basement for like 6 or 7 years. So it's like that you're just bound to just, you know, not get along with anybody, never mind being brothers. But yeah, I mean, right now we're kind of just in a point where like we agree to disagree, and like we know that we're very fortunate to have such an awesome drum company, and like, you know, for the benefit of, I think, everybody, we just don't really work together. I mean, he does his thing and I'll do mine, and you know, we've got a paint shop down the road from our main warehouse here that he works out. So I think we just both know that we're good at what we do, and let's just leave it alone and not really have to coincide too much, which is not, you know, good for family or the best thing for business. But right now, it's what we kind of have to do to keep the benefit of the company going in a proactive, positive direction.
The show that you recently started, Drumheads, like how did the Halogen
Yep.
TV, how did they go about contact you about that?
Well, we, I'd say like 7 years ago, my brother and I, we're friends with the band the Aquabats that I mentioned earlier. They've got a TV show called Yo Gabba Gabba, and now they have a show called the Aquabats Super Show. And we became very good friends with those guys, and one day the drummer called Scott, my brother, and he said, you know, you guys should do a show like American Chopper. Scott called me and was like, hey, Ricky thinks we should do a show like American Chopper. We should do it. And I was like, hell yeah, that'd be awesome. So my dad helped us out. My dad, you know, loaned us some money, and we flew out a crew, some of the guys that do the Aquabats shows. They came out and stayed at my parents' house for a couple weeks. We filmed making Panic at the Disco's kit. Shot the whole thing. You know, the natural drama's there. The like actual like real dynamic of two brothers making drums on a tight deadline and like fighting and disagreeing is not scripted. You know, so the natural, you know, it's natural. It's a reality show, but it's natural. So we shot it and made a pilot. We shopped it around forever, for years. And then we got a producer, Demetrius Graham from DG Films, found it. Got involved, shot more pilots over the years. We shot one with like Lady Gaga and Miley Cyrus, kind of, you know, on a smaller scale. Shopped it. We went everywhere to every network, and you know, we had some good feedback. But then finally, Halogen Network found it and contacted Demetrius and said they want the show. And just immediately seeing Halogen's, just the way they work, how the shows that they have. The fact that they really wanted us to be involved, like with charities, and just very, they're into just giving back, which I think is very cool. So I'm like, if we're gonna do a TV show, I don't want it to ruin SJC as a brand. I don't want to be, you know, no offense to them, but Jersey Shore. I don't want to be drama, you know, fist pumping and going to bars all the time, because so many people are gonna see it and then they're gonna get the wrong idea of SJC. It's like business first. We're always about quality and getting our drums done for the client the right way. And Halogen was cool with that. They were like, just do a show, make drums, how you do it, live your life, and we'll film it. Do some charity stuff, it's great. And yeah, we just became, you know, very good friends with Halogen and started working with them, and they aired 5 or 6 episodes, and we're waiting to see what happens now. But it was fun and stressful, but it gave people, I think, a little bit of an insight into the drum company and, you know, how we run it. So.
Yeah. With the charities, like I know on the show they showed you doing the Y in Lynn and Worcester, and then the Boys and Girls in Worcester.
Yep.
How was the experience doing that? Because I know it can be like very rewarding work with.
Yeah, super rewarding. I mean, there's no better word to describe it than rewarding. Like, it's like giving back and like seeing that like unfiltered, raw, like just emotion from kids and the people in the department at those at the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA and the, you know, all those departments. Nobody ever gives stuff anymore. Like in this day and age, it's like nobody. I'm not saying nobody cares, but like it's just there's never enough to give around. I feel like with businesses. So when people actually do give, and it's such a big thing, like a drum set. You know, these kids are so young. And I remember when I was 9 getting my first kit. You know, I was just like, this is like a rock and roll drum set. It's so cool, and it just like made you want to do music and do that. And it's such a cool thing to drive you in your life. So for us, it was super rewarding because it just brought, you know, my brother and I back to why we started it and like how we were when we were that age, and like just seeing the people in those departments just so thankful for us donating a drum set was awesome. And hopefully it'll change, you know, however many kids, even one kid there, hopefully will you know, change them for the better and give them a different outlook on life, even though they're so young, like make them want to be in the music industry. which is cool because it's helped so many people and it's such a cool thing to be a part of. So very rewarding and cool. It was fun. So.
What's the favorite drum set you've made so far?
My favorite drum set is actually this one right behind me. It was John from Boys Like Girls Kit. When they toured off their last record, he called me and he's just like, we're doing an arena tour, make me a kit. And I was just like, what do you want? And he's just like, anything that you think's cool. And I knew he liked the butcher hoops, these big wood hoops. I knew he liked lights in the drums, and he just said, make me something cool. And like, I just sat there and thought of it, and this design just popped into my head. So we made it, and he loved it, and you know, it's here right now, and I think it's freaking cool. It kind of encompasses everything that SJC sort of stands for. Very vintage looking and out of the box, but you know, crazy but functional too. They sound great, and he's used it for a couple of years now. So.
I know on the show it showed you guys making most of your drums in 6 or 7 days. How is that possible? Because you start from scratch and do it all by hand.
Yeah, and I guess a thing before answering that, kids seeing the show, I've seen kids get mad. They're like, well, how, you know, I'm waiting a few months for my drums. Like, why are you doing those so quick? And it's just like, without giving too much, it's like, it's TV. And it's like, we know what we have coming like up, but the whole thing is they want to film everything as it happens. So it's like, you know, we know that we're going to be shooting a couple months beforehand, so we'll pick the bands out, get all the paperwork done, but I'm not allowed to talk to the drummer. I don't know what he wants. So like all that part is like for real. They want like the urgency of it getting done so fast. We will never push an artist aside, so even, you know, Johnny Smith's got a drum that he's been waiting on and he's supposed to be in production that week. We're still going to make his kit that week. What people don't see on the camera is like, literally we're here till 3 or 4 in the morning when we're shooting. We're starting at 6 a.m. to get everything done. Like, they're here filming, and we know that we're only going to be filming for a couple months, so literally everyone here is like all hands on deck, like just going crazy trying to get everything that we're already supposed to be doing plus the TV show kit done. And it is stressful. Like, there's no made up stuff. There is like, literally we got to drive somewhere to get something made. We have to overnight stuff. It's just we've got, you know, a week or 2 weeks to film the kit being made for TV, and we just have to do it. You know, it's what people also don't see is that the kit would start with like one idea and end with another because we literally couldn't do the idea that the drummer wanted or that we originally wanted to do.
Like the drop kick Murphy
set.
set.
There's a lot of changing stuff as you go because of the time constraint. But I mean, when we start drums, we literally can finish a kit, you know, a Monday through a Friday, depending on what it is. I mean, a kit like this one here has, you know, inlaid acrylic with each other. That's crazy. But the stuff we did on the TV show was pretty, you know, pretty average. Beside the Every Time I Die alligator kit, that was ridiculous. But that one was done at like 5 in the morning, and I packed it up and drove to New York. So people see it on TV and they think it's made up and they don't know really what time it is, but really it's 5 a.m. and I'm like, we're all, you know, bags under our eyes and about to drive to New York to finish filming it and deliver the kit. So yeah, that's how. Crazy.
Would you do more shows like that, or is it too stressful because of the time?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and like, we want to just because it's so cool. It gets us out to such a broader audience, but and the charity thing's so great. I mean, we continue to do charity stuff even without cameras around or whatever, but yeah, we do more. It's just a great thing for the company. It gets us out there, and people like watching it, so we would totally do more. Just we'd probably have some more time off. We shot 7 days a week for a couple months, so I'd probably request like maybe a weekend off every other weekend, but we'll see how that goes in next year.
What do you think makes SJC so different from any other drum company?
I think that SJC is so different from any other drum company in so many ways. I think just internally, how we run our business is, you know, obviously different from any other company. No one runs their company the same exact way, but we just, you know, we started in my grandma's basement, and we started as friends and family, and we'll continue being that. You know, I've never been out to, you know, have a 5-year plan to make X amount of dollars and this and that, and really no one here is that way. I mean, obviously we're all making a living doing this, but we're not in it for the money. We're in it for the fact that we all love drums, and we like, there's nothing better than designing and making a drum set and having the customer be so stoked on it and seeing it, you know, on a tour on TV or whatever, or know that it was used on a record and know that, you know, some kid's super pumped on it. Just the customer service that we offer, the backline that we offer, the social media stuff that we do to make kids feel part of the family, and they really are part of the family. And then, you know, our drums, obviously, we think outside the box. They're different, they sound different. I believe they're built better, they're built differently. We just try and have the whole package, you know, because we know what it's like to be on tour. We know what it's like to be a 12-year-old kid getting your first drum set that your parents bought you. You worked 3 summers to earn the money to buy. We all have been there, and we know what that's like. So that's where we put our mind. We're like, okay, this kid's, you know, 15 years old, and you just worked 3 summers in a row to get this kid. Like, let's take extra good care of him. We do that for everybody. So I just think we're different all around, just because we care. So many businesses don't care, and so many businesses are like corporate, or even the little guys might not know, might not care. I don't know. I just think that I know how we feel, and I know that it's gotten us this far. So something's got to work about that, you know.
Where do you see SJC in 5 years?
5 years, I see SJC. We just moved to this warehouse that we're in now. I see us in a bigger building. I'd like to buy our own building, get one, you know, 5 times this size, like the Fantasy Factory style, with you know, crazy equipment. You know, I never even thought we'd be here. So look out here and see a dozen guys making drums in like such a big shop, and all the parts and tools is crazy to me. But that's just, you know, showing that just like, you know, you put your mind and your heart to something as a group, you can do it. I don't know, I see us, you know, same morals and the same mindset that we have now, just bigger. You know, a bigger shop, making more drums, more employees, more artists, more dealers around the world, and making cooler drums.
I asked this to every band, so I'm going to ask this to you. In a zombie apocalypse, who's going to die first in the building, and who's going to die last, and what weapons would you use?
Oh my gosh. You'd have to ask Josh Byrne that. He loves zombies. What would I do? I don't know. I talk about this with my girlfriend sometimes, and I thought about it. I don't know if there was a zombie apocalypse, if I'd really want to be stressed out every day worrying about if I'm going to get bit or if I'm going to die. So I think that I'd want to just like be a zombie. I would probably just run and just be like, what's up, dude? Make me a zombie now, because you're going to live the rest of your life running around. I'm still going to be me. I'm just going to be a zombie. You know, what's wrong with that? Zombies are cool. So I'd probably just get bit and just run to them and not hide. I wouldn't need a weapon because I'm 130 pounds, so I wouldn't win anyway. So I would just become a zombie. And so I think you asked who would get bit first? Me. I would get bit first, and everyone else in the shop. PJ would be the smartest. He'd get out of here. PJ would, he'd get out, but I'd get bit first, and, you know. Or actually, the door's back there. These doors are locked, so the guys in the woodworking would get bit first.
Because they'd go in first.
Yeah, they're right there. But yeah, I just want to get bit. Like, if the world's going to end and there's going to be a huge something, I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to go in, like, a big hiding place. I'm just going to be like, what's up? I don't want to starve, you know? Like, because that's going to suck, seeing the world like that, you know? Not that I want to die, but I've lived an awesome life, and if the world's going to end or a zombie's going to get me, I'm just going to join it, you know?
If you could change the company name, what would you change it to?
If I was to change the company name, I don't think I would. I don't know, it might come as a surprise to people, and even my brother if he sees this or whatever. The company is SJC Drums, it's my brother's initials. It just happened so organically when we started doing it. Like, he started recovering drums for fun as a hobby, and I joined in because I knew drummers and I thought it was cool that he was customizing drums, and I wanted one, and I wanted other people to have one. And we never had a business plan or set out and had a meeting. We're like, what are we going to call it? It just happened, you know. We just called it SJC because he started doing it, and, you know, I just drew the logo on my computer, and his initials looked really cool, and it just worked. And it's like almost a household name now for drums, and it works. I don't think I would change it because that would mean I'd want to change the company, and I think that where we are is exactly where I want it to be, and I think it's really cool where we ended up, you know. Probably like a jerk move would be me to say I'd want to change it to my initials, but mine aren't cool. MLC, I don't know, SJC just looks cooler and sounds cooler, so I wouldn't want to change the name.
Is there any links like Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, YouTube, anything that kids can go and see your stuff?
Yeah, if you want to check out SJC, our website's the best place to go. SJCdrums.com. We've got an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all that crap that I don't even know the links or the passwords to because I don't really check a lot of that stuff. I check the Instagram sometimes, but it's all /SJC Drums or SJC Custom Drums. You can find it all from sjcdrums.com though.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.